Have you ever thought about how one old secret can ruin a life based on lies? In windy Chicago, where lake breezes carry dreams of success and trains rumble in the distance, some restaurants are icons. They host big deals, fortunes, and life-changing meals. At the center is Lakefront Peak, an elite spot without flashy signs, just a brass lion on a walnut door. Inside, quiet power fills the air with clinking glasses and low talks over gourmet dishes. For Mia Reynolds, a woman whose life had gone from working with old objects in a museum to wearing a server uniform, the feel of the Lakefront Peak was like fancy sadness. 4 months ago, she had been around old maps and letters. She sorted private notes from a rich steel boss for the city's history center. Then money cuts ended her job. Now, she had to learn new ways, how to serve with care, where drinks must be perfect, and even a small mess is bad. The main rule was not written down. It came from a longtime bartender named Frank. His eyes showed he had seen a lot. "See that booth?" he said quietly on her first night. He pointed to a private corner with a big view of the water. "That is the snake's home, and the main snake comes every Tuesday." The main snake was Isabella Voss. She was the only child of big real estate man Harlan Voss. He had made his money from the city's land. Isabella was different. She was famous in high society, gave money to good causes, and was always in nice magazines. But to the workers at the Lakefront Peak, she was a scary person. Her mean ways were sharp. She gave them with a calm smile and a cold stare. Mia had heard the stories. A new helper got fired right away for folding a napkin wrong. A chef with many years got upset after she called his best food boring. Isabella Voss did not just eat there. She controlled the place. Her workers moved around her like people near danger. This story is not about a fast argument. It is about taking away a fake look. It is about finding that even big buildings stand on weak dirt. It is how a calm woman who loved old facts used truth to fight someone who had hidden her own past. And it started with one cold glass of bubbly water. 2 weeks into her job, Mia went into the snake's home. The usual server for Isabella's table got sick all of a sudden. The boss, a worried man named Mr. Laurent, looked at Mia like he needed help. "Reynolds," he said fast, "you stay calm. You do things right. You take table 8 tonight." Mia got ready like it was a big test. She learned Isabella's likes. Bubbly water from a special French place, cold to 44 degrees, with a thin orange peel, not lemon. Bread only rye, warm for 18 seconds. Each thing could be a problem. When Isabella Voss came in, the room got quiet. She looked perfect in her own way. Her red-brown hair was in a neat knot. She wore a gold-shimmered dress that fit her thin body like shiny water. Her yellow-brown eyes looked around with lazy power. She did not walk to her seat. She moved smoothly, like a boss among regular people. Mia walked up, her heart beating steady. Her clothes were neat. White pants and shirt, red waistcoat that fit well, blonde hair and wavy curls around her face. "Good evening, Miss Voss. I am Mia, your server tonight." Isabella's eyes looked at her quick, like she did not care. She said nothing. She just pointed to the empty glass. Mia poured the cold French water with a steady hand. She was about to add the orange peel when Isabella's voice stopped her. It was soft, but like a knife. "Stop." Mia stopped, with the peel and the tool over the glass. "What are you doing?" Isabella asked, her voice flat. "I am adding the orange, Miss Voss. Did I ask for orange?" Mia knew it was in the notes, marked clear. "Sorry, Miss Voss. The notes say..." "I do not care about notes," Isabella said sharp, her eyes small. "I say no fruit now. Is that easy to get?" People at close tables got quiet. They knew this was the start of Isabella's famous mean acts. Mr. Laurent moved closer, his face showing sorry. But Mia did not get scared. She did not beg. Her work with old things taught her to trust facts. She looked at Isabella with calm interest, not fear. Isabella was testing her. She set a trap. "Sure, Miss Voss," Mia said. Her voice was polite and strong. "My mistake. I will bring a new glass now." She took the glass away and came back fast with a new one. Same cold water, no peel. Isabella watched every move. Anger showed in her yellow-brown eyes. She wanted someone nervous and sorry, not this strong calm. It was like trying to start a fire with no spark. The meal went on in a hard quiet. Isabella used hand signs and short words, but Mia moved easy, guessing what she needed. Her work was perfect, like a show without words. She was more than a server. She loved history. She was looking at a real example. A leader who got power from making others afraid. Mia felt no fear. She felt interested. When Isabella left, she stopped near Mia. "You are new," she said in a low voice. "Yes, Miss Voss. Do not get too comfortable." It was a clear warning. But as Mia watched the rich daughter leave, she felt an old feeling start. The part of her that loved history saw a new puzzle. Isabella Voss had a perfect life now. But Mia thought her past was different. A past that could be found. The meeting with Isabella Voss started a fire in Mia. It was not to get back at her. It was to understand why she was mean. Her old teacher said, "Things that look perfect outside often have breaks inside." Mia decided to look deeper. She started with stories from the restaurant, not computers. The workers knew all about Isabella's bad ways. In the small break room, over old coffee and snacks, Mia listened. "Do you remember when she sent back soup because the bubbles were too loud?" a waiter with experience said. "Or when she made them redo pasta because the pieces were not straight," another said. These were tales of small, mean acts. But Mia looked for what connected them. Isabella wanted everything to be like a show of rich style. If anything went wrong, she got very angry. It showed she was not really sure of herself. Like someone pretending, afraid to be seen. Frank, the bartender, helped the most. One rainy Sunday night, when the place was quiet, Mia stood by the bar. "You have been here a long time, Frank." What was she like at first? Frank stopped cleaning a glass. She was different but tried to act the same. About 14 years ago, after her dad Harlan got very rich, she watched everyone. How they dressed, how they ate. She was learning how to act. He came closer and spoke soft. The strange thing is, before Harlan Voss was famous in Chicago, there was no Isabella Voss, not in the fancy news or anywhere. Mia's history sense got excited. "What do you mean?" When Harlan became big, Isabella showed up with him. She was like a ready rich lady with stories about schools in Italy and a quiet kid life. "I have worked with old rich families for many years. I never heard of her before, a woman with no past." That was a big hole. That night, in her small home full of books, Mia turned on her computer. Her fingers moved quick like old times. She started with easy things, public records. Searches for Isabella Voss gave parties, fashion, good stories, and rich magazines. It was like a wall made on purpose. She changed her way. She looked for Harlan Voss in old news before he was big. He was a hard man who built things. His start was hidden. He came to Chicago like from nowhere. Mia looked at old land papers and company files for clues about where he came from. She found nothing for days. Then she found something good. In an old newspaper from a small town in Colorado, there was a short story from the 1990s. It was about a fight over land. A family store had to move for new building. The man's name was Harlan Voss. The story was simple, but one part stood out. It talked about Harlan's family, his wife who died years ago, and his young daughter. The daughter's name was not Isabella. It was Kelsey. Kelsey Voss. Mia felt excited, like when she found something big in history work. She searched for Kelsey Voss now. There were not many results, but they showed a different picture. Some stories in the Colorado paper, like school good list, a win at a town fair for best drawing, and then the best find. It was a link to an old video on a site no one used much. The video was from a local TV in Colorado. It showed a town show from the late 1990s. The name was Mountain Stars. Mia's hands shook a little as she clicked play. There she was, a young version of Isabella Voss, not so fancy. Her hair was light brown, messy style, not the neat red brown. She wore a cheap dress with shine and a big smile that looked forced. But the face was the same, strong chin, high cheeks. Her eyes were not yellow-brown, but plain blue, full of strong want. The man's voice on the video was old and loud. "Now doing a dance to God Bless the USA is number 6, the nice Kelsey Voss." The girl danced, her moves not perfect. But it was not the dance that surprised Mia. It was the talk after. "So, Kelsey," the host said, "what do you want to be when big?" The girl's face got hard, smile tight. "I will be rich," she said in a plain voice, not like Isabella's fancy talk. "Richer than all here. I will leave this town and not come back." Mia sat back with a smile. The snake of the lakefront peak, the boss of Chicago high life, had a hidden past. It was a girl from a small town named Kelsey with bad dance and a heart full of anger. The perfect world of Isabella Voss was a lie. A big money way to hide Kelsey. Finding Kelsey Voss changed things for Mia. But she knew such facts must be used careful. Fighting straight would be dumb. For now, she kept it secret, like a card in her red waistcoat. Her calm ways were making Isabella upset. Mia did not get scared easy. It bothered Isabella's control. If mind games did not work on the new server, she would do more. She would break her. The attack came on a busy Saturday night at the lakefront peak. Isabella sat with rich friends, looking in charge, but Mia noticed her tight shoulders and quick glances. She was ready to strike. After the main dishes were cleared, Isabella gasped, hand to her arm. "Oh my," she said with fake shock. "It's gone." "What is?" her friend Clara asked, concerned. "My ring. The Voss diamond. Dad's gift for my 35th. It's missing." Whispers spread. The diamond was famous, worth a fortune. Isabella stood dramatically. "It was here moments ago. I touched it before the server cleared plates." Her eyes fixed on Mia. "You were last here. You leaned over." The accusation hit hard. Mia felt a chill but stayed calm, drawing on her history training. "Miss Voss, I saw no ring," she said steadily. "You'd say that," Clara snapped. "It could have dropped on a plate you took away." Mr. Laurent rushed over, pale. "What's wrong, Miss Voss?" "My priceless ring is gone," Isabella said, pointing at Mia. "Your server was closest." "Search her in the kitchen." In this elite world, her word meant Mia's job and reputation were at risk, even without proof. Mr. Laurent turned to Mia sadly. "Did you see anything?" "No, sir." Plates went straight to the kitchen. "Check her pockets," Clara demanded. Mia cut in calmly. "I'll empty them myself." She showed her notepad, pen, and lip balm. Isabella sneered. "It's probably hidden in the kitchen." The ploy was cruel. The ring likely in Isabella's bag, set to appear after Mia's ruin. Staff searched desperately, finding nothing. Isabella looked triumphant. "Call the police," she ordered. Mia seized the moment. "Miss Voss, check your bag again." Stress can confuse things, make you recall other times, like mountains and star shows. The odd words confused everyone else, but Isabella froze, fear flashing in her eyes. Her face paled. "What did you say?" she stammered, voice weak. "Times can confuse," Mia replied softly. "Sorry if I misspoke, but the hint landed." Isabella wavered, her anger crumbling. A friend stood. "Enough, Isabella. Let's go. Insurance handles it." "No," she muttered weakly, mind racing over how Mia knew. The change in Isabella's behavior was clear to everyone. Her confident mask broke apart. The anger she used as a shield now felt weak and fake. She no longer controlled the situation. One of her friends noticed her worry and stood up. "This has gone far enough, Isabella. Let's just leave. We can sort the ring with insurance later." "No," Isabella replied, but her voice lacked its usual force. She was shaken, her thoughts spinning as she tried to understand how this ordinary server knew her hidden past. That was the moment Mia made her final play. It was a smart risk, based on guessing how proud people like Isabella thought and acted. "Miss Voss," Mia said in a calm, reasonable tone, "before you go, maybe check the small pocket inside your scarf. Rings can slip off sometimes and end up in odd places." Isabella shot Mia a glare full of pure anger. She realized what Mia was doing, offering a way to escape, but one that would make Isabella look completely foolish. It was a trap with no good way out. If the ring appeared on her now, her whole dramatic accusation would turn into a silly mistake. Hesitantly, her friend Clara reached for the soft scarf draped over the chair. "It can't hurt to look," Clara said, sounding unsure. Clara's fingers felt around the scarf, and then her expression turned to shock. She pulled out a small, shiny object. There, glowing under the elegant lights of the lakefront peak, was the Voss diamond. Its bright sparkle lit up like a captured star. A wave of surprised gasps filled the room. "Oh, wow," Clara muttered, holding the ring. "It must have come undone and fallen straight into your scarf." She turned to Isabella, a touch of irritation in her voice. "All this drama, Isabella, and it was right here with you." The embarrassment struck like a wave. Isabella's face shifted from pale to a bright red flush. She had accused a server of theft, demanded searches and police, and held the entire restaurant in suspense, only for the ring to be found in her own scarf. She didn't look powerful or wronged. She looked like a spoiled rich woman throwing a tantrum over nothing. Her friends avoided her eyes, suddenly focused on their napkins or glasses. The quiet talks around the tables turned from concern to soft chuckles and eye rolls. Without saying anything, Isabella snatched the ring from Clara's fingers, grabbed her purse, and stormed toward the door. She tried to keep her chin up, but her steps showed defeat. Her group was left to pay the check, offering awkward smiles as they hurried out, leaving behind an air of second-hand shame. Mr. Laurent approached Mia, his face a mix of amazement and relief. He didn't fully grasp the details of what had just unfolded, but he knew Mia had somehow turned the tables on the restaurant's most feared guest. I don't know how you did that, he stammered. But thank you. Mia let out a slow breath, her racing pulse finally easing. She hadn't spilled the full secret about Kelsey Voss to the room. There was no need. A few well-placed words had been enough to crack Isabella's control, making her appear not only cruel but ridiculous. In the world of high society, where image was everything, ridicule was a deeper wound than any direct fight. The aftermath of the ring incident spread quickly through the lakefront peak. By the next shift, the staff treated Mia differently, no more pitying glances or quick warnings. Instead, they shared nods of respect and quiet thanks. You slayed the dragon, one cook whispered in the kitchen, grinning. The fear that had hung over the place like a cloud began to lift, replaced by a lighter mood. Jokes about misplaced jewels became inside laughs, and even the busiest nights felt less tense. Isabella skipped her usual Tuesday visit and the one after that. Her absence was like fresh air after a long storm. Guests noticed too. Some regulars even asked about that intense woman in the corner booth, relieved she wasn't there to sour the vibe. But Mia stayed alert. She knew people like Isabella didn't fade away after one loss. Pride would pull her back, and when she returned, it would be with a plan to crush the person who had humiliated her. Mia decided not to wait passively. She needed to strengthen her position, to fully uncover the story of Kelsey Voss. The Colorado newspaper clippings and the old video were good starts, but they were just pieces. To face whatever came next, Mia wanted a first-hand account, someone who had known the real Kelsey before the money and the name change erased her. Digging through online records, Mia found a lead in a digitized high school yearbook from the small Colorado town. Kelsey's senior photo listed her in the Community Helpers Club, advised by a teacher named Margaret Klein. A quick search showed Margaret, now retired in her late 60s, still lived nearby, active in local gardening groups. Mia crafted a careful email, posing as a researcher interested in small-town success stories for a blog on American dreams. She mentioned coming across Kelsey's name in old archives and asked if Margaret remembered her former student. Days passed with no reply, and Mia worried the trail had gone cold. Then, a response pinged in her inbox. "Dear Ms. Reynolds," Margaret wrote, "Kelsey Voss stands out in my memory, a girl with fire in her eyes. I'm happy to share over coffee if you're in the area." Mia didn't hesitate. She booked a cheap flight and rented a car, trading Chicago's bustling streets for Colorado's open skies and rocky hills. The drive to the town felt like stepping back in time, quiet roads lined with faded signs and family farms. Margaret's home was a cozy cottage with a blooming front yard, the air sweet with fresh earth. Over steaming coffee and homemade muffins, Margaret opened up. Her stories painted Kelsey as ambitious but troubled. "She was always pushing forward," Margaret said, her voice warm with nostalgia but edged with sadness. "Lost her mother early, and Harlan Voss was a driven man himself, chasing wealth to bury his own poor roots. He drilled that into Kelsey, manners, speech, everything to fit a bigger world." Margaret described endless lessons on poise, the pressure to erase any hint of small-town simplicity. Kelsey craved approval, she continued. But underneath, she was insecure, convinced perfection was the only path to safety. The local talent shows? That was Harlan's idea, practice for the spotlight he planned for her. Mia leaned in, sensing deeper layers. Was there anything specific she might want kept hidden? A moment that shaped her. Margaret paused, stirring her coffee thoughtfully. There was an incident her senior year. A classmate, a kind boy from a struggling farm family, had a crush. He slipped her a handwritten poem, sweet, innocent stuff. But Kelsey saw it as a tie to the life she despised. She didn't reject it privately. She read it aloud in the cafeteria, mocking every line. The poor kid was crushed, left school shortly after. Mia nodded, piecing it together. But Margaret wasn't done. Worse came next. That boy's family-owned land Harlan eyed for a development deal. Weeks later, their storage shed burned down. Official report said faulty electrics, but whispers said otherwise. The family, heartbroken and broke, sold out cheap and vanished. No one proved a thing, but Kelsey, I saw guilt in her eyes at graduation. She knew her cruelty had cleared the way for her father's gain. The words hung heavy. A fire, a ruined family, a buried scandal. This wasn't just embarrassment. It was a foundation-cracking truth. If exposed, it could unravel the Voss Empire's shiny image. Mia thanked Margaret profusely, her mind buzzing on the drive back. Now she understood Isabella's core. Her bullying wasn't random power plays. It was a lifelong run from shame, a way to silence the echoes of that cafeteria moment and the flames that followed. Back in Chicago, Mia resumed her shifts, the secret like armor. She knew Isabella would strike soon. Ego demanded it. And sure enough, 5 weeks after the ring fiasco, Isabella returned on a crisp Tuesday evening. The room tensed as she entered, alone this time, dressed in a stark black blazer and pants, like armor for battle. She marched to her booth, eyes locking on Mia, and beckoned with a sharp finger. Mr. Laurent started forward, but Mia waved him off. "I've got this," she whispered. This was the showdown. She approached steadily, blonde curls framing her determined face under the red waistcoat. "Good evening, Miss Voss." Isabella ignored the greeting, pointing to the opposite seat. "Sit down. It's against policy. Sit," Isabella snarled quietly. "Or I'll have my people buy this dump and fire everyone by dawn." Mia sat, posture straight, meeting those amber eyes without flinching. The dining room watched in puzzled silence. "You think you're clever?" Isabella began, leaning forward. "Digging up dirt, playing games. Whatever you think you know, it's nothing." Mia stayed silent, letting her stew. "Don't deny it." Isabella hissed, voice cracking with fury. "You embarrassed me once. Now I'll end you. My father's investigators ran your background, Mia Reynolds. Failed museum job, mounting debts, that sad little apartment. You're insignificant." She smirked coldly. "I'll ruin you. Call every employer, label you a thief, a liar, unstable. Lawsuits for defamation until you're bankrupt and begging. Your life? Over." The threats poured out, but Mia didn't waver. This was desperation, the final lash of a cornered animal. "You're correct about my skills," Mia said evenly. "I'm excellent at uncovering history. And I know you're not Isabella Voss from elite Italian academies. You're Kelsey Voss from that dusty Colorado town." Isabella stiffened. "Baseless lies. You'll regret—" "I know about the Mountain Stars talent show," Mia pressed on, voice dropping. "Your awkward dance routine. And the boy with the poem, the one you humiliated in front of everyone." Isabella's breath hitched, but Mia continued. "Then came the fire. The shed on his family's land. Convenient for Harlan's first big deal, wasn't it? They sold cheap and fled, whispers of arson trailing behind. At fire, Isabella shattered. Color drained from her face. She looked small, terrified, like the girl in the yearbook photo, not the society queen. "How? You can't prove—" "I don't need to prove it here," Mia said firmly. "But I can dig deeper. Find that family, share their side. Newspapers, podcasts, everyone will hear how the Voss fortune started with a bullied boy's pain and a suspicious blaze." The air thickened with tension. Isabella's hands trembled on the table. Mia held her gaze. "Here's the deal. Leave now. Never return. No more threats or games against me or anyone here. Walk away clean." "Or what?" Isabella whispered, but defeat laced her words. "Or I make your past public." "Your choice." Silence stretched. Isabella's eyes burned with hatred, but the fight was gone. Slowly she rose, clutching her bag. No parting shot, no glance back. She walked out, the door clicking shut like a final period. The restaurant exhaled. Kitchen staff peeked out, erupting in quiet cheers. Mr. Laurent rushed over. "What just happened?" Mia stood, smoothing her waistcoat. "It's over," she said simply, grabbing a menu for the next table. Word of the confrontation buzzed through Chicago's dining scene. A legend of the waitress who outsmarted a tyrant with wits alone. Mia's poise caught eyes beyond the restaurant. A wealthy diner, a history buff named Mr. Harlan, no relation, approached her one night. "I saw how you handled that. Sharp mind, love for facts. I fund a heritage project. We need researchers like you." The job offer was perfect. Back to archives, better pay, freedom to explore. Mia accepted, trading her uniform for books and discoveries. Isabella vanished from view, rumors placing her in distant cities forever shadowed by Kelsey. Her reign ended, proving money couldn't bury truth forever. In the end, Mia's story reminded everyone, real power lies in knowledge and calm. Bullies hide fears behind bluster, but one revealed secret can shatter it all. Chicago's wins carried on, but for Mia, they brought a bright new chapter.